I had always trusted my wife. We had been together for nearly a decade, and despite the ups and downs, I believed our relationship was solid. But over the past few months, something changed. She became distant, constantly on her phone, and staying out late without clear explanations. At first, I tried not to overthink it, but then I noticed her growing protectiveness over her phone. She kept it locked and face down all the time. One evening, after she went to bed early, her phone lit up on the counter. The message read, "I miss you. Can't wait for tomorrow night." The sender's name was simply Jay. My stomach dropped. I didn't confront her right away. I needed more evidence. The next day, I paid close attention to her routine. She told me she had dinner plans with her friend Amanda. What she didn't know was that Amanda had recently moved out of state. That evening, I decided to follow her. She left the house looking more put together than usual. Jeans and a simple top, but with styled hair, perfume, and lipstick she no longer wore for me. I waited a few minutes before following her in my car. She drove across town to a small restaurant, where I saw her meet a man outside. They hugged, and he kissed her cheek before walking inside together. It felt like my chest was being crushed. I wanted to confront him right then, but held back. I needed to think this through. Over the next few days, I pieced everything together. I checked our shared bank account and found charges for restaurants, hotels, and even a flower shop, places I'd never been. She was living a double life. Then came my chance. I overheard her on the phone saying, "I can't wait to see you Tuesday night. Same place." When Tuesday came, she left around 7 p.m., claiming she had to work late. I already knew where she was going, his apartment. I decided to act. I arrived at his place 30 minutes before she was due. When Jason, the man she'd been seeing, opened the door, he looked shocked. "Who are you?" he asked. "I'm her husband," I replied, stepping inside without waiting for an invitation. His face turned pale. "You didn't know, did you?" I asked. He shook his head, stunned. She told me she was separated. I couldn't tell if he was lying or genuinely clueless, but at that moment, I didn't care. I told him my plan. She's on her way here. When she knocks, let her in. I'll be the one she sees. Jason hesitated but eventually agreed. He seemed just as blindsided as I was. A few minutes later, there was a knock at the door. Jason opened it, and there she was, smiling and holding a bag of takeout. The moment she saw me standing behind him, her smile vanished. "Hi, honey," I said, dripping with sarcasm. Her face turned pale. I can explain," she stammered. "Go ahead," I said, crossing my arms. "Explain why you're here when you told me you were working late." Her excuses tumbled out, each one more ridiculous than the last. She even tried to blame me, claiming I wasn't attentive enough or didn't meet her needs. Jason finally spoke. "You told me you were separated. Was that a lie too?" She turned to him, pleading, but he stepped back, disgusted. "You lied to me too. I'm done. I don't want any part of this." He walked out, leaving us alone. I looked at her and said, "Well, there goes plan B. I hope it was worth it." Then I left without waiting for her response. That night, I packed a bag and stayed at a friend's house. As it turned out, Jason blocked her on everything and cut all ties. She tried reaching out to him, just as she tried begging me for forgiveness, but it was too late. In the end, she lost us both because of her lies. I moved forward with the divorce and never looked back. It was painful, but the relief of leaving behind that toxic relationship was worth every difficult moment.